Hi, I'm Dan from Just Records, and this is Mixdown Mondays. Last week, we talked about balance. This week, we're going to talk about panning. Panning is determining the signal distribution in a mono, stereo, or multi-channel soundscape. This is achieved by turning your pan pot or knob to the left, center, or right to determine what speaker or headphone that your specific channel will be heard. We use panning to create a stereo wall of sound or to widen the overall mix. For instance, the Beatles used hard panning in their mixes. Often the drums and bass would all be panned hard to the left, and the guitars and vocals would be panned to the right. If you ever listened to some of the early recorded music that was panned in this way, but you had like a mono setup, you might only be hearing half of the song. Panning is often referred to as LCR, left, center, right. And panning hard in one direction or another will weaken the signal that's panned away from the ones that are not. Typically, we find vocals, bass, snare, and kick all pan center, where the guitars, backing vocals, and other drums are panned to one side or another. When panning drums, I prefer to pan in the drummer's perspective, mostly because, well, when I'm listening to music in my car, I kind of like to play along to the track. But some people like to pan in a audience perspective, which is the exact opposite. So as if you were looking at the drum set, that is how you would hear it. Here's an example from the band Cosmic Deadline. You can see here I've got the toms panned all different directions, and this was a particularly large drum kit. Also, in panning, we can use it to create more of an effect or an experience with the guitars. An example here on the guitar solo, or one of the solos in this track, I automated the panning to go from right to left and back to right again. Use panning to kind of build your own mix, build a soundscape, so to speak. Decide what goes where. You can either hard pan or soft pan, where like around 40, 30%. It just helps kind of divide your mix up. So when you're making the decisions on how to pan your mix, keep in mind that you don't want everything to come straight at the listener. Have it kind of more immerse the listener into the track itself. Have the guitars on the left. Have some guitars on the right. Put the backing vocals in the left. Put the backing vocals in the right. Put the keys somewhere. It's all up to you as the mix engineer to decide where you want this to be heard. Ultimately, just see what you like. Use reference tracks. See how others did it. And if you'd like, do the same thing. Thank you for watching Mixdown Mondays.